Okay. So the other thing I want to talk about something that Jules said. So basically, Jules is talking about how, like, there's some movie that's coming out, and the movie is trying to promote this idea that, like, the average guy who's like the waiter or just working at the 7-Eleven or something, that if there's like some really successful wealthy guy, you should pass him over and go to like the normal guy working at 7-Eleven because he will love you or like you more or treat you better. I guess that's the premise of this movie. This is just a lesson that I'm learning right now, so I don't know, take this with a grain of salt or whatever. But okay, so the thing I'm doing now, like the job that I do now, a part of this job, it like includes like housing, like shared housing. So technically, like I have like a roommate, we get like free housing with this, but we like work certain hours and then like we use our money to travel. So okay, but as a part of that, you still have to like provide for your, like, you have to use your money to buy your food. So there's two options. The one option you have is like this thing called Staff Calf, where you can pay like $5, and then they have like this community kitchen. Well, how do you say it? It's more like a buffet style that's in like the staff cafeteria, and you put in your little ticket, and then it's $5, and then you can just eat all you want for like, it's open for like 3 hours every single day. Or you can just go to the grocery store, like Aldi is a grocery store, and there's like community kitchens in the dorm and you can cook. Now, here's something that's fascinating because, like, I would say it's probably like in terms of gender breakdown, like 50-50 men and women. Now, here, there are all these guys who can cook, which is fucking insane. Like, I mean, every single guy here knows how to like bust a meal. Like I was just in there and there's a guy who's like making like jambalaya with like hot peppers like in the pot. It was just like, are you fucking kidding? Like another guy like chops, he's like chopping his veggies like every single night, like cooking chicken, rice, pasta, all type of shit. And I'm saying, like, I can't cook. Like, this is why we have like dinner chats where I'm like at restaurants, like I can't cook. Like, we're not gonna try to pretend. But it's still a life skill that I've had to like flex while I'm here, because obviously like I have to survive too, so I have to like learn how to make food. And I'm really bad at this. But there was something that Jules said though that I want to like touch on, because I've also learned this lesson as well. So sometimes when you're like new in a relationship, you don't realize like the lack of survival skills that your partner may have. As in, like, let's say that you start a relationship with someone and they have an apartment, but then in their apartment they don't have much food in the refrigerator, and every time you come over, like, you actually aren't, like, you guys aren't going out to dinner, and like they're also not cooking. So I'm not sure how meals happen. Even maybe sometimes like you eat before or they eat before, but maybe you don't put all of this together. Like, there's a couple instances in my own life I can completely remember this being the case. Now, what she's saying is like, look out for these survival skills. And I just want to reiterate that. Like, a lot of people keep saying the same thing. Like, what are these qualities basically that you're supposed to look for when you're like looking for a partner? And I think like either a person can like have the skill or the attribute, like they know how to cook, they know how to grocery shop, they, you know what I mean, like, and they are doing it for themselves. But when you really think about it, like every person has to eat, and every person has to like sleep somewhere, and every person has to like work. These are like normal things that like everyone has to do. So like when you encounter a new person, you have to like assume that those things are also true for them. And I think that that's a part, like, I like the way that Jules described it because it put an emphasis on that, but I feel like a lot of other people are like glossing over that point. I just want to highlight that point. Like, that's actually how you can get to know like what's going on. You can start asking people, oh, what did you have for dinner? What did you do last night? You know, like, how did you spend your free time? How was work? Oh, like, you know, how are your coworkers? Just something that is like relative and, how do you say, like, universal, where all people will be able to like, they should be able to comment on it. And it's like when you realize that they cannot, that is the red flag. It's like, oh, okay, so I've had 4 dates with this person and none of the dates involved food, but they have to eat and I have to eat and they know that I have to eat. It's kind of another thing too where I think it's kind of funny where there's the people who are like saying no to coffee chats, which is kind of strange. Like, I think coffee chats are actually a good way to like kind of ease your way into meeting someone because, you know, eating and drinking, completely normal things that you're going to do multiple times a day. So including that activity that you're going to have to do anyway, like drinking, having coffee, and then doing that with like another person who's also already doing that is like a good idea. And the bar is really low. So I don't actually understand why so many people have like an issue with that. That's kind of weird if you ask me. Anyway, you should definitely go check out the video that she posted for yourself. I really like that creator because I think that she has like a lot of lived experience, and I think like she's in her personal life has gone through the stages of like feminine growth in terms of like, so it sounds like she was single for a while, then she was married, then she had kids, then she got divorced, then she, you know, kind of dated a little bit, and now she's in a more permanent relationship. So she's kind of gone through all of the stages, and a lot of the content that she's making is reflecting on her own lived experiences and then comparing those experiences to situations and instances that she sees in the general public in the real world. And I appreciate that so much. I feel like this is one of the reasons I continue to unpack like feminist themes and thoughts, because that is like one key insight or moment that I feel like I missed for a while. So I just want to like ensure that those gaps are kind of like filled in a sense. Yeah, anyway.